Good morning. This is a variegated Gumi and very overgrown with weeds. We're going to do a little brushing as well. The reason that we do brushing is to get off any moss or anything that has attached itself to the trunk and branches of the tree. Also, that kind of loosens anything that's dead or needs to maybe come off anyway whenever you do your brushing. You want to use a brass wire brush. They do make specific ones for bonsai, but you can also use the ones from the parts store or hardware store. So let's go ahead and get with it, I guess. Yeah. So normally I would use tweezers to pluck all my weeds out, but because these weeds are so ginormous, we're gonna have to do it like old school style, where we're just gonna get, vicious. Now the problem with waiting so long to do your weeding, like I have done here, is that the weeds get really established in there, and so getting all the roots is important. So every time that you would de-weed your bonsai, it is important to try to get the roots. That's why we use the tweezers, because they are a little more gentle and give it a little tug. But, considering these are as they are, but even so, I know here in Hawaii, this is why weeds just, oh my gosh, I used to think in my younger days, how in the world did we lose these civilizations in Mexico? Well, now, living in the jungle, I understand exactly how we lost civilizations. I mean, it grows like crazy. So that is why I am constantly brushing here where I live, because I have moss, fungus, just sagging in the areas of where water collects around the leaf part, and then it just spreads. So it's a constant for me here. Also the weeds, of course, constant. And I get no winter per se, so it's pretty much 12 months of it. So anyway, back at it. Do a little fine tuning with tweezers and such. Now I'm going to use my handy dandy adorable little rake. I'm going to take like the first top layer off of this one because the fine little weeds that were in there are really fine, like I say, and they're all in there. So I'm just going to take it off. It's about time for this one anyway, so we're going to do it. When you want to go a little deeper than maybe the rake is allowing you to do, because it's not too intense, you know. It's kind of a baby rake. You can use your tweezers and put them together and then go like this. They also make a lovely rake that I do not have yet. They make like a 2-prong rake, I think, a 3-prong rake. Anyway, bonsai on a budget. Yeah, that'll be a video. Ooh. Another thing that you can do with your tweezers, these are so versatile, lovely, and a must, and not too expensive, so that's a lovely thing too. But, well, now I forgot what I was going to say. Nothing. Oh, so in order to enhance the trunk structure, so right here at the base where the trunk is actually coming into contact with the dirt, if you kind of scrape that around away like this on a regular, you will enhance the trunk structure. This one doesn't seem to have anything that great right now that I'm finding in there as I do this. As you do this though with some of yours, you might find that you already have these little magnificent root structures going in, and you can accentuate those by doing that, pulling away from the dirt and the rock away from the actual trunk to enhance those. All right? Yes, tidbits. So when you're doing your weed pulling, and especially whenever you're pulling that layer of dirt off and you start exposing roots, the roots that you want to look for are white. At least they are here in Hawaii. The roots are white, whereas the roots of your baby, your bonsai, are more of a creamish to brown, maybe even a little bit of an orangey rusty color. But that is not usually white. And also, this little part right here, which I normally use, and we normally use for a press, we can also use for like a little rake or shovel or hoe. Didn't want to say that, but we did. And pull it on out that way. I'm gonna go ahead and brush all of this so that I don't have to clean it up from down here. I'll just like a little bit, maybe scoop, scoop, shovel, shovel, and then put the dirt and the rock down. So I'm gonna try to visually show you a bit of this moss that I try to get off and everything. Right here, you can see all of this is built up with green on top of it, and because these branches are kind of close together, they're collecting it even more. Because this pot is a little dirty and has some of that mold on it that is very difficult to get off, I'm going to use my little pumice stone And this is actually a glazed pot, and so this is safe to use on a glazed pot. Again, this is a fine pumice stone, very fine, made for bonsai pots specifically. Don't be grabbing your foot one and no, we're not going to get the same effect for sure. All right, so this takes a bit of time, so I'm going to do this, and then we're going to add some dirt and a little bit of rock, and I think she'll be done. Now we're going to add some of our dirt mixture, our media. We'll give it a press, pressing. And we're going to add some top rock on top of that. I wanted to point out this little fern right here. I've thought about leaving it, but those things grow so fast here and their roots can get kind of down in there a bit. This is one of those ferns that back on the mainland, you know, we all wanted as a hanging basket on our front porch, you know. It gives that country look. But good Lord, they just grow like weeds here in Hawaii, in my yard, all over the place, in the bonsai, everywhere. And they get big, as you probably know. But that's a little bitty baby one right there. Yeah, so we're going to take it out. Sorry. Oh. And rock. All right, I'll get every rock in place and then we'll do a reveal. I feel like it needs something. And I think it's this moss right here. So, thinking right in this area right here, we'll give it a little something. I'm gonna put that in there. Got her all trimmed up. Moss in place, lichen in place, rocks in place. I think that the tree is a little skimpy looking, but she'll grow in and look a lot better because of it. Let's go ahead and do a spin. Now remember, when you are doing your bonsai, little bitty things make a difference. Moss in a spot or not in a spot. A rock in a spot or not in a spot. The tree leaning a specific direction. There we go. We made this one where it was all pretty. I cleaned the pot, put it on the stand that we borrowed from another bonsai. She'll be a lot happier now after this trim and de-weeding. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for joining me.